is no restart.
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
That perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
Hi legends. Ooh, let me just do this. Right, there we go. Wait, let me put myself nice and bright here on the screen. Can everyone see me? You should be able to hear me. It looks all good here on my side. Right, legends, welcome to another live stream. Remember to smash up that like button. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, make sure that you subscribe for future technical analysis, because here we only discuss pure technical analysis, no emotions, right? We do not FOMO into trades, and we do not catch falling knives here to the downside. Whew, legends, quite a lot that I would like to discuss today, so welcome to the live stream. Remember to smash up that like button. There are so many scenarios. There are still bearish case scenarios to even come and claim the low, right? This is the scenario that I'm looking at the moment, is to say that, yes, I know, as per the thumbnail, is Bitcoin getting ready to explode? I will go through that scenario again. Yesterday, I spoke about the bearish bat pattern and the bearish Gartley pattern, which looks like the Gartley pattern actually is playing out at the moment. And right, legends, and if you are in that short trade because you took the short on the Gartley pattern, well, there is still a chance for lower momentum to the downside. Okay. Right, legends, let's dive here into the technical analysis. And let me quickly very quickly say hi to the community over here, and then we will go in. Hello, welcome to the live stream, Mr. Salty. Best part of the day is Mr. Dewald's first live. Dewald, I longed 83k. Yeah, with 75% of my portfolio. What do you think? You really want to know what I think? If your position is protected, by all means, right? If your position is protected, by all means, but going in with 75% of your portfolio, based on a thumbnail, I hope you are practicing good risk management. The most I ever go in a specific trade, a day trade, the most that I have ever applied in a specific day trade is 5% of my portfolio. It's the most that I've ever trade. Okay, 1% is my go-to number, 3% is if I'm like, ooh, this is a really good trade, and 5% is if I'm like, exceptionally good risk management. The moon, the stars, the planets align. I am 200% certain that the price is going to move in that direction, okay? And then I'll apply 5% of my capital, but you can make sure, or you can be assured that I will protect my position as quickly as I possibly can. 75% of my portfolio. Woo. Right, Mr. No Financial Advice, welcome to the live stream. When in doubt, get the D line out. Hit that like, yes. The D line has been proving quite successful here to the upside. It's also what I highlighted in the Legends Pro community this morning. Okay, and I will show you guys what I analyzed here on the lower time frames. Okay, very interesting structure that played out here on the lower time frames, and I've been keeping the pro community up to date in terms of what I'm seeing, the counts, And you know, it just looked like the price wanted to claim these lows, and then there was a small little WXY structure there to the downside that looks like price. We'll see, right? I don't want to make any judgment calls at the moment. Are you smoking your socks? I love that phrase, bruh. Yes, I also love it. I love the smoking your socks phrase. I actually do have, legends, you know, if things get really crazy, let me do this. I do have a sock that I could smoke. I have my lighter, right? Should we should we smoke some socks together? Right, that is not a stinky sock, by the way. It's too fresh to smoke. Okay, it needs to be worn a couple of times. Mr. Fast, welcome to the live stream. Hello, Rena, welcome to the live stream. Hey, Dewald, is your mic unplugged? No, my mic is plugged in. Can you guys not hear me? Can you guys not hear me? You should be able to hear me. It looks like my sound is coming through perfect. Right. Okay, legends. Let's see. I just want to see if I'm missing anything over here. Yes. Does Powell's speech today affect the price? Obviously, news-driven events can create some volatility, but I do not trade the news. I trade technicals. I'm a technical analyst and I trade the technicals in front of me. And often when the technical analysis tells me that price is going to take a dump, the news then confirms the dump. Okay, after the fact. So what I like about technical analysis is technical analysis will very often show you that a dump is incoming or a pump is incoming. And then once that happens, the news comes out that now caused the price to dump or pump. So the technical analysis for me is a leading indicator, where the news is a lagging indicator. Right, cool, legends. Let's dive here into the technical analysis. Elizabeth, welcome to the live stream. Hi, traders. We hear you, but sounds like camera mic. Okay, wait, legends. Let me do this. Right, I can see something. Yeah, let me try this. Let's just wait for the mic to start up again. I just rebooted it. Let's do this. Right. Legends, I need to fix this mic because I know exactly what you mean. I can see that the sound is coming through my MacBook and it's not coming through the mic for some reason. But what happened is, as I was starting up the live stream, my mic fell over and hit buttons on my keyboard. So I'm not sure if it did something. Can try some buttons over here. Ooh. No, I don't want to switch that on. Right, legends, let me try and unplug this and try again. Okay, cool. Let's see if this is going to work, legends. It would be nice just to get the mic working properly over here so that you guys can hear me clearly. But let me know if I can't get the mic to work, can you guys still hear me at least? Can you still hear me? Because otherwise I'll have to restart and reset, reboot my computer. Let me know in the comments. Can I continue like this if I can't get the mic to work? Does it really sound bad? Like really bad? We can hear ya. Sound is good. Remember everyone, not your keys. Okay. Sound quality is worse than usual, but we can hear you okay. Right, legends, for some reason I can hear clearly. Okay, perfect. So I can actually, it doesn't look like the mic wants to work. I can actually remove the mic. Okay, and just talk to you guys without the mic today. And this feels a bit weird. I'm used to something between me and you, my mic. So for now, the sound is coming through my MacBook Pro, and it does not want to register my mic at all. Let me just try one last thing over here, legends. Just give me a moment. Let me try one last thing over here. Sound settings. Let me see. Input. Okay, so yeah, legends, I think I'm going to have to restart the software in order to get the mic to work, because my Mac is picking it up. It's just my streaming software is not picking up the mic. So I'm just going to continue like this. Sorry about the sound quality. Unfortunately, I'll have to restart the entire live stream in order to get the mic to work. So, you know, it's never perfect. Just like trading, it's never perfect, right? So let's get into the technical analysis. Sorry about the delay. And let's get the party on the road. What I will do is I'm going to put the background music off so that you guys can hear me properly. Okay, cool. Right, legends. So one scenario, okay, I know that we have all been looking at this scenario as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is part of a corrective structure, which I will tackle now, okay? And we could be forming impulses back to the upside. There's a chance that if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that the correction is done. Maybe one more low, right? One more low. You guys know the deal. Maybe one more low. But there's a chance that the correction is done and we're going to start finding a little bit more of upwards momentum. Where the 5-wave structure is done, this is the corrective structure. The one thing that I have been highlighting is that when you take a time fib from the low of the structure to the high of the structure, okay, I did tell everyone that when we made this low, it's too soon. We need another low. Okay, if there's any chance for the bulls to hold this level for upwards momentum, this cannot be the low, right? Now we made another low after the 0.382, which is great. So now there's a better chance, there's a better probability that if the structure has now corrected itself in a sideways corrective structure, there's a chance ever so slightly that price could potentially find its feet and continue momentum here to the upside. Because this low was made after the minimum requirement from a timing perspective. This was too soon. Okay. Right, but now the bearish case scenario I also want to discuss. Now that I am here on the 1 hour time frame, I just want to discuss this scenario as well, legends. This could also, because this is what happened here. Okay. This is why the structure failed. It looked like a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looked like a 3-wave structure, but it was actually a WXY. It was a corrective structure in a Y wave. That is why we claimed the low. They look very similar. They count very similar, but they are corrective structures. So this is now where I want to discuss this potential scenario as well, is to say that, well, this could also be a WXY structure. You have formed an ABC in W, you formed an ABC, a complex corrective structure in X, okay, maybe an ABC, simple zigzag in X, and you formed another ABC in Y. If this is the Y, there's a high chance that you're going to come and claim the low. Okay, and this, someone is gossiping about me. That's why the tip of my nose is itchy, right? I don't know if you guys have heard about that saying. If the tip of the tip of your nose is itchy, someone is gossiping about you. Okay, right. So legends, you know, it's never easy in trading, right? But it's about longing support and taking profits at resistance. And it's about shorting resistance and taking profits at support. That is what makes trading so powerful, because a bullish and a bearish case scenario could have a 50-50% probability. If you are just longing blindly, hoping that the low is in, you have a 50-50% chance of losing your money. That is gambling. That is not smart trading with good risk management. Okay, you want to trade against with the odds. You don't want to trade against the odds. And if you have a 50% chance, rather go to the casino, order yourself a drink, and get out the house and have fun if you want to go and gamble. But if you're taking trading seriously, you want to trade with the odds. And at the moment, the odds are 50-50. We're either going to take the low or the low is in, maybe one more low, and then we're going to go to higher levels. Right, and I will show you guys why I'm I'm still leaning towards one more low over here. I'm still it's very frustrating that price stopped where it stopped at the moment, but it did stop at a critical level, okay? But it did not claim the liquidity below these lows. A bit frustrating. Maybe this is the market front running all the bulls that's waiting for lower, and they might not get it, and it's just going to blast off over here. And okay, so on the larger time frame, I wanted to just share this scenario to say that, guys, there's a chance that the Y wave is in, and we're going to start building impulses to the downside to come and claim the lows. This is also an alignment. Okay, if I zoom out a little bit more, do you guys remember this little bad boy that I discussed yesterday? There was the godly that I discussed yesterday. Do you guys remember? It was the godly and the bat. Okay, well, this was the bat and this was the godly. Okay, we did not get the bat. We did not reject by the 0.88. So it was the godly that played out. Right, so if I just, let me clean up the chart. Choop, choop, choop. Okay, let me just look at this structure over here. So when you take a fib from the high to the low, price found its feet or rejected by the 786. This is a D wave target. Beautiful. It did not tap the 0.88, which is the bat. It tapped the 786. Okay, I just want to quickly, and actually I actually like this more. I really do like this structure more. It's just cleaner, right? It's just cleaner. So there's still a chance for whoever during yesterday's live stream, played the short over here. Okay, you claimed the liquidity above the highs, the SFP from this high. Beautiful SFP from the high. There's a chance that price is still going to make a lower high and roll over and complete the reversal pattern. And that is also in alignment with the WXY that I've just shown you. Okay. But it doesn't mean that there aren't longing and shorting opportunities while we're falling here to the downside. Okay. So this was the pattern that was highlighted yesterday. I would have liked the bat to play out, but there are pros and cons to a bat and to a godly. Okay, let me explain to you guys the pros and cons. When you have a bat pattern, this is why I don't particularly like bat patterns. I don't like them. Although they can play out, for me they have a lower probability of playing out. And let me explain why. When you have a high and you have a low, and regardless of the pattern, and you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of taking this high before you take the lows. Now you have a potential bat pattern as well. So you have two probabilities playing against each other. You tap the 0.88, which means you increase the probabilities of taking the high. But you also have a bat pattern that increases the probabilities of taking the lows. This is why I do not like bat patterns. And this is also when I do see a bat pattern, I aggressively take profits as price falls to the downside because of this probability over here. I like godly patterns more, okay? Because when you have a godly pattern, when you have a godly pattern that rejects without tapping the 0.88, that is still a great rejection target. Okay, so from a bullish perspective, this is the maximum bullish bounce that you want to see. From a bearish perspective, because you tap the 0.88, you do not increase the probabilities of taking the high. And because you rejected by the 0.786, there's still a higher chance to claim the lows, which for me makes the godly patterns more powerful. Hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, this is why I like godly patterns more. The fact that we rejected over here and did not tap the 0.88 for me has a higher chance of claiming the lows. Right, I hope that makes sense. I'm just explaining to everyone why I prefer a godly over a bat pattern. And I'm not saying the bat patterns don't play out. I don't like when probabilities are clashing against each other, because now you don't have a 70% probability of claiming the lows and a 30% probability of claiming the highs if you tap the 0.88. If you tap the 0.88, now this godly or this bat pattern becomes a 50-50% probability. Okay. Right, legends, I hope that makes sense. Now, I want to look at this little structure, okay, and just go and deep dive into the local structure over here. Okay, cool, legends. Now, let me take the fib out the way. We have not tapped the 0.88 to the upside, but what is now becoming very interesting is this structure that we are now formed, or that we have now formed here. Okay, so legends, the most obvious structure is this is the top. Okay, let's talk about the cleanest structure. Let's talk about the obvious structure. You can have an A wave in a three-wave structure. Three-wave structure in A. You can have an A wave in a three-wave structure. This is a complex corrective structure. This could be a B. And this could be now the C wave to the downside, which is a simple A, B, C. And then you continue back to the upside. And it's this little move down that I have been keeping an eye on. And what I told the pro members last night, the Legends Pro community last night, is that what looks interesting about this scenario is that I can draw a fib. And I can go and see, does the levels get respected? You take a fib from the high to the low to the high. Okay. And we were trading, you know, we were trading over here when I posted the scenario to the Legends Pro community. And if you guys would like to join the Legends Pro community, where myself and Andy and the coaches provide continuous updates in terms of what we see, trading opportunities and so forth, you need to go and select the link down in the description. Okay, it is Legends Community. This is where you go and join our Legends community. There's a free section and there's a paid for section. Right. So this Fibonacci, or this fib extension, becomes very interesting to the downside. And I told the Legends, I want to see if we get a reaction at the 786, because we weren't there just as yet, and we got a reaction at the 786. And then I'm like, okay, so it looks like the fib pool is being respected, which means that every time we fall to another level, there's a potential longing opportunity. And look at also beautiful reaction at the 1-to-1 extension. I would have liked the price ideally to come to the 1.236 and the 1.382. This was the juiciest zone that I was keeping an eye on. I know that we can bounce from the 1-to-1 extension, but I liked this one more because then you're sweeping up the liquidity below these lows. Okay, also when you go and you switch on some levels like your point of controls, etc., right, we also still have this juicy point of control at $82,115 that has not been tapped. Also very frustrating that you did not claim this low, or ever so slightly you just front runned it. Okay, and then even this little structure that's now forming here to the upside, this retracement went incredibly deep, which gives the impulse low probabilities to actually continue momentum here to the upside, right? It's you don't really want to see a deep retracement like this when you start building impulses back to the upside. And based on this retracement, it increases the probabilities of coming to claim this low again. Okay, so it's not a clean structure. It feels very messy. Okay, it did tap the 1-to-1 extension. There's a chance that you could count this as an A, this is a B, and this is now the final C here to the downside. So what I did is I went and I dissected this little structure on the smaller time frame. Yes, I was there on the 2-minute, 1-minute time frame, trying to see that, well, can this structure have come to an end? Can this be a valid C wave that did not tap the zone? Is there a chance? Or are we going to make another low and then get the bigger bounce to the upside? Okay, this is now what I'm trying to figure out. But while I'm trying to figure this all out, there was trading opportunities. You guys can see I have some smaller trend lines. Okay, you guys can see I have some smaller trend lines inside of this structure. And so now let's go to the 1-minute time frame. Let me show you guys what I was looking at. Okay, let's take it here from the top of the structure. Okay, I need to zoom in a little bit. I want to show everyone what I saw. So I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, beautiful. There's a 5-wave structure. So this becomes wave 1. Then this needs to become wave 2. This is your retracement. 1, 2. Okay, beautiful. Then I can count another. Let me just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I can count another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a chance, legends. Let me see if I saved my counts that I did last night, because it's going to take too long for me to try and count everything now again, but I think I did save it. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so legends, there's a chance that this was number 3, this was number 4, and this was number 5. And inside of each wave, I can count 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. However you want to count it, you can count 5 waves inside of each impulse, which means that there's a chance, ever so slightly. I just want to make sure that I'm here inside the screen. I keep on jumping off the screen. Okay, there's a chance that the low could be in, but now this is an impulsive structure to the downside, which could also be the end of a C wave. Another way to look at the structure is, well, what if all of this was number 3, this is now number 4, and we still need to go down for one more 5th wave to the downside. This is the scenario that I would like to play out, but I don't always get what I like as a technical trader. Okay, but we have a clear invalidation. But anyways, legends, while I was counting the structure, there were some trades. Okay, there was some, I played that breakout all the way here to the upside, and I took profits exactly at that pivot, cashed out. And you might be asking, well, why did you take profits there? Because I was aware of this little situation. When you take a fib, okay, from number 2 to the lows, you drag it across, look at where price rejected at exactly the 50% fib level. And when I saw the rejection, I closed my position from this long. So you can still trade, right? Even if the structure doesn't make sense. I was like, okay, I'm going to play this breakout. And I will explain to everyone why I played that breakout. And when I saw the weakness, the tap at the 50% and the rejection, I didn't close it exactly at $84,000.90, ever so slow. When I saw the rejection and price started falling down, I closed the position. Okay. And now I need to now zoom in to the smaller time frames. Okay, this is now what I saw here. I was like, okay, if this is the end of the 5th wave, and we are now just going to rampage here to the upside, this needs to be an impulsive structure, and I can count this structure as 5 waves to the upside. Okay, then I was like, okay, now if this is a 5-wave structure to the upside, you're not allowed to take the low. So what on earth is this? Okay, I needed to go and try and make sense of this little structure here to the downside. Well, I can count this as A, B, C to the downside. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I can also count this structure as an A, 3-wave B to the downside. Oh, that was the WXY. A, B, C, W, X, Y. Anyways, legends, I saw a WXY corrective structure. I want to see if I have everything still saved up here, over here. That was the bigger WXY. Here we go. Right? This was the structure that I counted. When you can count an ABC, that becomes a W. Then there was another 3-wave corrective structure in an X. And I was looking at Y wave targets to get into a long. So then for me, it becomes very easy because you can measure 3-wave structures. They all have the same measurements. You take a trend-based fib from the high to the low to the high of X, And look at where price found support, at the 786. And this I also shared with the Legends Pro community. Guys, we are currently getting a reaction at the 786. But the 1-to-1 extension and the 1.236 is also Y wave targets. So pay attention. We got the bounce, and this is why I had this trend. I was like, there's a chance for the Y wave to be finished. So can you guys see, even on the 1 minute time frame, I can just look at this damn structure and figure out from an Elliott wave perspective where we are and find my levels to long from. Yes, I could have longed the 786, but I wanted confirmation. When we broke the trend, I longed, had my stop below the low, and I took profits in this zone. In and out. Okay, as simple as that. So now for me, it looks like, well, if this is an impulse, this could be the corrective structure for this impulse that did not take the low. A very, very deep retracement, but it didn't take the low. And now we broke this little trend that I have over here. So if I zoom out here onto the 5 minute time frame, well, what is this little trend that I have over here? Well, it's this one, okay? Let me just delete that trend-based FIP. I was also tracking this momentum. Okay. And these guys are just simple breakout strategies. I know that I'm throwing so much Elliott wave theory into this, but if you read between the lines, that was just a trend line breakout. You connect the trend with this little structure, guess what? We broke out and we retested perfectly. That was a longing opportunity. Without knowing anything about Elliott wave theory, you could still enter these trades. I'm just overlaying Elliott wave theory to see that if my analysis is sound and if I'm longing and shorting the correct levels. Right, if price can continue to grind here to the upside and tap this little box that I have over here, okay, this is now the significant box that I have over here. Okay, I want to see if we can invalidate a fourth wave. Okay, so oh, by the way, I wanted to show everyone this as well. Okay, and I'm sharing this from an education perspective. If you missed the breakout, if you missed the retest, there was another way to get into this trade. Here on the 1 minute time frame, I had another trend. You know, I'm just tracking the momentum. You can see all the alarms. I can now take all of these ones out. Okay, don't need that one anymore. And I tracked this breakout. You formed a nice little trend over here. You missed the breakout, you missed the retest. Well, there's another breakout. Okay, almost claiming the highs, almost looks like it wants to claim the highs. You play the breakout, you put your stop loss below the low, and you wait for the highs to be claimed. Right, legends, I don't think it gets simpler than that, right? So I know I'm trying to make it as complex and as easy to understand for everyone, okay? And people don't believe me that I take these trades, but just to quickly show everyone over here, boom, 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 I have taken this trade and I've already taken some profits. Okay, so this, my friends, I played this long with my stop below the low. I closed my position. I entered over here, okay, and I have already now taken profits because it looks, you know, and I'll explain to everyone now why I'm aggressively taking profits, even though momentum can continue to the upside. Okay, so let me take these things out the way. Right, on weeks, and if you'd like to come and trade with me on weeks, legends, you should know that you should know the deal by now. Sorry, just managing my trade, taking some more profits, especially with this momentum here to the downside. Okay, so legends, if you'd like to come and trade with me, like I've just shown you, I do take a lot of trades on weeks. Most of my day trades I take on weeks and on Bluffin. Links are down in the description. And one thing about weeks that I finally fixed it. Okay, I finally fixed it. I forgot the last couple of live streams to fix it, but I fixed it now, right? You get 20% cash back on the money that you deposit in your features account to trade with for free, Beautiful. You deposit $1,000, you get $200 to trade with extra. That gets airdropped into your account. You have to leave your money there for 3 days, and then it gets airdropped. Okay. Also get 25% discount on your fees. And now they have this thing running over here, right, where you can register and trade to win a Ferrari. Ooh, will I get lucky to win this Ferrari? I have no idea. I mean, I am an affiliate, so most likely I won't be able to qualify to win the prize over here, but I hope and wish that one of you will win this Ferrari over here. So this is where you go and register for the competition. The second link here for weeks. So you can go register for the competition to win a Ferrari. Just trade like you normally do. You don't have to be more aggressive or whatever the case might be. Just trade like you normally do, and maybe you just, win that Ferrari. And then also on Bluffin, 20% cash back on the money that you deposit. All you need with both of these exchanges is an email and a password to sign up. Right, and if you want to join our Legends community, where I highlight all the alpha first, I can show you guys here. Do I have them open? Yeah, let's go. Okay, just to give you guys an idea of what I share on a daily basis, right? So, I mean, yesterday was quite busy, okay? Yeah, you guys can see I've shared with them the shorting opportunities for the godlies, both the godly and the bat pattern that I spoke about on the live stream as well. Yeah, last night I told everyone this is the fib that I pulled from this high to this low. Watch out for the 786. Let's see if we get a reaction. Okay, and now we got the reaction at the 1-to-1 extension. This is what I highlighted last night as well. And then this morning I told everyone I can count 5 waves to the downside. I'm now waiting for this trend to break out. Okay, and then I went into smaller time. Yes, the 1 or the 3 minute to 2 minute time frame where I explained the exact same scenario. Guys, we are getting a reaction at the 786. Watch out. Okay, there I had my mini trend. Okay, so this is where I dropped the alpha first, and this is now also what I told the legends, and this is now what I want to discuss. Okay, that little red box to the upside. If we tap the red box to the upside, okay, we significantly reduce the probabilities of the another fifth wave here to the downside. Okay, so there's like, let's see. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. So legends, now if I go back here onto the 5 minute time frame, just to show everyone, if you have an impulsive structure to the downside and you are not sure whether this is the low, because it could always be a third wave and there's another fifth wave to the downside. You take your fib, okay? This is such a key point to remember. From number 2, you have to take it from number 2, okay, to the lows. And your fourth wave has a maximum target of the 50% Fibonacci. So if price is still going to fall here to the downside, it should not tap this box. And there's a chance for one more low. And this is why I'm keeping my eyes peeled for $82,115. Okay, this could be a nice little longing opportunity all the way here back to the upside. And I mean, I just have to say it, when you start hitting resistance like this, you need to start taking profits, because it's never guaranteed that this long is going to be that long. If that makes sense. Okay, you need to take profits at resistance when you're long. So legends, still a very important zone that I'm looking at over here. If price does not claim this high and it does not claim the golden pocket over here, there's still a chance to fall back down. Okay, and these are just intraday trading setups. Okay, cool legends. So that is basically what I wanted to discuss. I have my red box, and I also just want to put an alarm here so that I know if this box gets tapped. Right, just put a nice little alarm over there. And now if I go onto the 15-minute time frame, I really want that naked point of control to be tapped. You guys don't understand it. It's such a juicy level. Okay, to look for a better long to the upside. If I take a fib from the low to the high, yeah, I mean, legends, it's just, when I start aligning some levels, look at this. You have the 1.382. You have the 0.382. You have a naked point of control. you have also this consolidation area that's providing support. It would be nice for price to do that and then get a little bit of higher momentum where I will be taking profits when we hit resistance. But that is a beautiful day trade, a nice move to the upside, long move to the upside. Okay, swing failure from this level is what I will be keeping an eye on. Obviously, you've got the 1.618 here as well. That you all know the magic number, the 1.618. Okay, the all magical number. Right, legends. So I know that we are now talking about potentially more momentum here to the downside. The harmonic, the godly, is still in play. This little high did not claim the 0.88, which does not increase the probabilities of claiming the high over here. Okay, so for now, this high is still protected. We did not claim the 0.88, which means that because we rejected over here, there's still a chance to move down lower, right? And all I'm trying to do here from a day trading perspective is catch the bounces while we drop. I want to just catch the bounces while we drop. Long to the upside, short to the downside, and you guys get the deal, right? Let me go through some more comments. Again, for those of you that joined a little bit late, I do apologize about the quality of my voice. I am struggling to get my mic to work. Okay, I did drop my mic by mistake just before I started the live stream. I bumped the mic over and that must have done something. So I need to restart everything and just see if that will fix the issue. Okay, Dewald, you are forcing the structure. It doesn't make sense. Which structure? Crypto, hustle? Which structure am I forcing? The 5-wave structure to the downside? Am I forcing it? I don't know which structure you are referring to. If you can just let me know in the comments and then I can tackle that. If you're saying that I'm forcing the structure, I would like to just figure out why you're saying I'm forcing a structure. Okay, am I forcing one more low to the downside? Just let me know. Also, weekly close and open at 82,360, 82,360. Yes, so definitely that adds to the confidence there to the downside. You know, legends, and it might be a scenario of, let me clean up the structure over here. Let's take all of the mess out the way. Okay, it might be a scenario of the market is maybe there's too many eyes on the zone. Okay. And this is a front running happening over here. I do want to state, legends, although I'm talking about bearish case scenarios, they could still fall down here. There's a scenario that the low could be in. Okay, we have broken trend, and as long as you stay above the trend, there's a chance to move to higher levels, definitely. And then this is where I'm going to look for a short. 0.88, point of control inside of this range. Okay, it's an area of resistance. I will pay attention. If we don't get the rejection, then up we go. I don't care, right? I will not short if price is above my area of interest. But if I spot weakness, bearish CVD, a swing failure pattern, I will attempt to short with good risk management. Okay, right, legends. It's not about, okay. So for now, we should be looking, let me see, I got a comment from you. So for now, we should be looking for a rejection or an SFP around 82.1-ish. Yes, 82.115. That's the level that I have in my chart. It might be slightly different if you use a different chart to do your analysis. But it is a good zone. From a simplicity perspective, it's the 0.382 when you take a fib from the low to the high. Okay, it's the 0.382. Right, so this is where I'm looking for a potential long. What I have noticed from my back testing, if you go and back test Fibonacci levels, Fib retracements more specifically, when you form a low and you have a high, okay, a nice little impulsive structure here to the upside. Whether you take it from this high, whether you take it from this high, doesn't really matter. It's close enough, okay? Usually when price falls down and it taps a major fib level. This is a major fib level, the 0.382. For the first time, I have often seen a nice little reaction back to the upside. I'm not saying it's going to do this. I'm just saying that you get a nice reaction, a nice little trading opportunity. Okay, This fib has not been tapped with this entire momentum here to the upside. We actually got here the tap at the 2.36, which is very shallow. It's a rare target, but a target nonetheless, but it's very rare. Okay. Right. I quickly want to look at the structure here on the smaller time frame. Just want to see something here. Remember, legends, you need to count 5 waves. If you're speculating on a low, right? Always, if you're speculating on a low, you want to count 5 waves to the upside. If there's a clear 3-wave structure, it increases the probability of claiming the low. Okay? And I mean, I'm here on the 1 minute time frame. It looks like I'll need to go maybe to the 30-second time frame just to see, well, can I count 5 waves in that structure? Yeah, there's a chance that you have it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in an expanding diagonal, which is rare, never preferred unless all other scenarios fail. But it looks like you could have a little 1, 2 here, and then maybe a 3, 4, 5. So it looks like you can potentially count a 5-wave structure in here. Okay, this is a 3-wave corrective structure. But now what you want to see is a fib from this low to this high. Okay, it needs to hold the 786. If this little bad boy over here, if this retracement smashes through the 786 and it starts tapping the 0.88, it means that there's a high chance you're going to come and claim this low. Okay, that's how I keep an eye on these structures. Right. Okay, cool, legend. So this needs to be your bouncing area. If this structure is going to remain bullish, because maybe this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's going to explode here to the upside, it has to hold the 786. But a hardcore invalidation is taking the low. It's not allowed to take this low. Okay. ABC, ABC. I'm just thinking about a WXY, but then it's an incredibly long corrective structure for this little short impulse that formed over here. Okay, I would just say you don't want it to claim this low, just to keep it simple over here. Right, legends, but we do have our levels marked out on the larger time frames. I mean, I know I'm stuffing around here on the 30-second time frame. Okay, bad Dewald, right? But you guys now know the probabilities. Okay, I'm looking. You know, price is over here. Price is at the moment, it's over here. I don't want to talk about these levels here to the downside just as yet. It's still, you know, price still needs a long way before it gets there. Let's talk about the levels that are the closest at the moment. Okay. So from a simplicity perspective, you could also take a fib from this high to the structure low. If price continues to pump to the upside, so let's say price continues to grind here to the upside, right? You have the 382. Look at the resistance. Okay. So if you are in a long and you took a long in this zone, you need to pay yourself, guys. 382, 50%, 618, because price could make a lower high and roll back down. Okay. So if you are in a long, remember to pay yourself. It's never guaranteed that you're going to do that. Leave some of the position open, but pay yourself for higher levels. Okay. From a shorting perspective, okay, the juiciest area to the upside is still $86,000, 800. Let's just call it $87,000, right? The 0.88. From a longing perspective, this still looks like a really little juicy area here to the downside. Naked point of control, 0.88, and also the point of control of the consolidation area that was formed over here. So these are the two zones that I'm currently watching. Yes, I can, as a scalper, I can zoom in here onto the 1 minute time frame and go and scalp the crap out of this. I can short, I can long, I'm a bull and a bear in the same day. I'm longing, I'm shorting, I'm longing, I'm shorting. You know, you can short and long this whole structure that's going to build over here. You can apply your trend line strategy and enter these risks with good risk, into these trades with good risk management. Okay. Cool, legends. That's basically what I quickly wanted to discuss in this update. I will definitely, what I will do is I will go live a little bit later today again and fix my mic. Okay, then we can go and look at some altcoins. We can look at dominance. We can look at a couple of other things as well. But for now, that's basically what I wanted to share. Okay. Jack, Dewald was here, was shared yesterday. Can you check last stream? Okay, shared. Jack on the, sorry. Okay, you guys are having conversations with each other. Dewald, you are familiar with M2 liquidity pumping right now? Yes, if you take a 108-day shift, the pump have to start around 1 May. Actually makes sense for BTC price to dump sideways until end of April. I agree, Moody. I have seen a couple of technical analysts and some very famous Elliott wave eliticians, let me call them eliticians, talk about the M2 money flow. And it's currently rampaging to the upside, and the delay between when the pump starts on M2 versus when risk on assets actually gets the pump to the upside. Yes, there's a time correlation. I have seen it. So thanks for bringing that up. And that's why I'm also saying, Moody, based on what you've just shared over here as well, and based on M2 currently going up, and I will see if I can get that chart for tonight's live stream. Okay, so I can show you guys exactly how it works and the confluences, okay, and the timing, everything around it. And this is why, for me, legends, based on what Moody has said over here as well, is that excuse me, there's still a higher chance to claim the high before we claim the low. I'm just going to leave it at that. Are we going to go to $500,000? I don't know, legends, but for now the probabilities are higher to still claim the high at least before we claim the low. Once price gets here, maybe we make one more low and then we move up, but once price gets here, we can see what the structure looks like. We can see if there's weakness. We can see if there's massive bearish CVD building up. We can have our fib extensions to the upside to see where we get the rejections. And based on those rejections and the corrections that form to the downside, we will be able to determine whether this is the top or whether it's simply getting ready for another move to the upside. Because I can tell you guys now, based on what happened here, okay, there's a higher chance to claim the high before we claim the low. And every time there's a pump to the upside, it is the fall to the downside that gives me the clues as to whether we're going down or whether it's corrective and we are getting ready for one more high to the upside. And then maybe once we make this high, I will have the same, how can I say it? I will say the same thing. Guys, maybe based on this, the probabilities are either higher to claim the low before we claim the high. We should be looking for a deeper correction. Or based on what I'm seeing over here, we're still going to claim the high before we claim the low. Right, and that is how you build directional bias from an Elliott wave perspective. Okay, right, legends. Dewald, can you please share your time fib level settings? Of course. The only thing I don't like about the time fib is that you can't make these numbers bigger. TradingView really needs to come to the party and just, you know, especially for everyone here on the live stream, you see these numbers are sometimes very difficult, but it doesn't have a setting to make the numbers bigger. Anyways, here's my, well, oh, that's the pen. Let's do this. Here's my settings. Right, you can take a screenshot and you can go and make yours exactly the same. And there's also a method behind my madness with the colors that I have over here. Okay, if you look at the colors that I have, let me just make it smaller so everyone can see. If I take a time fib, okay, there's method behind my colors. Let me zoom in over here. Oh God, it's really giving me a nightmare now at the moment. Let's try this again. I just want to quickly explain. Okay, here we go. Right, this is better. The reason this 0.382, I made it red because it shows me that this is the minimum target and any correction before the 0.382 is invalid. Okay, this is a critical line. It's my red line. Then The 0.618 is better, so it becomes orange. Ideally, okay, so this is your minimum requirement. This is a better requirement, the 0.618. And your best requirement is a 1-to-1 extension. Therefore, it is green. Then I go into a different shade of green. It's still okay to even have a corrective structure that is twice as long as your impulse. Then when your corrective structure goes to the 3, it's like, it's still okay, but it's starting to get a little bit iffy. Then when it hits the 4, you're like, okay, something, it needs to break out now. Like something needs to happen right now. Okay, especially if you have an impulse here to the upside and it's just correcting, and it gets to the 4, you start decreasing the probabilities of claiming the high. Then when it gets to the 5, this is why I have it in red. It significantly reduces the probabilities of taking the high, and whatever is forming over here is not corrective and it's most probably going to fall down. And this is why this is red. I left the 6 over there, okay, but it's like when a corrective structure goes after the 4 and it's already by the 5, I start taking out the scenario. I disqualify the scenario. This is your best zone. After the 0.382 to your 2 fib extension is the best zone for a corrective structure to find its feet. Okay, timing is very important, and not a lot of people, very few people talk about time fibs. Okay, timing is very important. You will see with each impulse, it has a relationship with time. Okay, look at this. I can just use any example. You have an impulse to the upside. Okay, look at where the low was made. The low was made after the 0.618. Beautiful. But if you have an impulse and it does this, and you are longing like a crazy person over here, you are in danger. Okay, because this low is made before the minimum target from a timing perspective. So usually when I see this, I will tell people here on the live stream, I think it's not done. And often what happens is you get a little relief rally and you make one more low in the zone where you are supposed to finish the corrective structure. Guys, if you don't believe me, go and back test it. Go and take every single impulse and see where the corrective structure ended. Go and back test it. The only time that I have seen this little line get invalidated where you fall and it pumps is on the 1 minute time frame. And this is why I don't like to trade the 1 minute time frame. That's where you get the most fake outs. That's where rules gets broken. It's on the smaller time frames. But the larger the time frame become, the more accurate the technical analysis becomes. Okay, so you don't really want to see these rules invalidated, especially on like 15-minute time frames and up. Okay. Right, legends, thank you so much for watching the live stream. Remember, the best deals on the exchanges down in the description, where you get the lowest trading fees and bigger sign-up bonuses, and it costs you nothing extra. I will see you all a little bit later. Thank you so much for joining, and until the next one, cheers for now.